What's up, everyone? Welcome to an off-road geometry comparison between the Mazda CX-50 and Subaru's wilderness models in that one metric that really matters. And that metric I'm talking about is off-road approach, breakover, and departure angles. Let's see how Mazda's new adventure SUV stacks up to the competition.
Okay, here we go.
Alright, so for those of you new to the big SUV up in the sky right there, the Mazda CX-50, it is Mazda's new mid-size crossover that they've unveiled with the specific intent of making it an off-road focused adventure vehicle. And now naturally, Mazda is going to be competing with the current king of the off-road adventure segment, Subaru. And for Mazda's sake, they've put together a very compelling package, but this video, we're not going to go into all the different details and specs of it. Rather, we're just going to compare it on the one metric that really counts, and we're going to compare it not just to Subaru's Forester, but also to Subaru's Outback. And the reason for that is that the Mazda actually comes with engines that are comparable to both of those vehicles, despite the Outback being a little bigger. So in this comparison, we're going to look at approach, departure, and breakover angles as best as we can get, because Mazda hasn't released those stats officially. We're actually going to dig into that with the images that Mazda has released so far. And then a little background on what approach, breakover, and departure angles are. That's basically the most important geometric measurements of any vehicle when you're trying to go off-road effectively. So your approach angle is the biggest angle of, say, a hill or a ramp that your car can approach as it's going off-road. The breakover angle is how big of a ramp it can traverse across the middle of the vehicle, and the departure angle is your angle of being able to successfully leave an obstacle once you've gone over it. Alright, so without further ado, these are Subaru's stats for the Forester Wilderness and Outback Wilderness. Now, the reason I'm comparing the CX-50 to the Wilderness lifted off-road versions of the Subarus is two reasons, actually. The first reason is simply for the fact that if Mazda is going to compete, they need to see how they stack up against the biggest, baddest adventure Subarus out there, hence the Wilderness models. And the second reason is one you're about to see. So you look at Subaru's stats for the Wilderness models, you'll see that the Outback has decent angles, the Foresters are a little better. The Forester Wilderness is a little shorter in length than the Outback, so it gets that better approach and departure angle. Breakover angles are about the same. Now, things get interesting when we're going to ballpark Subaru versus Mazda using just Mazda's side view that they've put on their website of the CX-50. Ballpark sketching those approach, departure, and breakover angles, and then comparing those angles, we can see that the Mazda in red actually comes very close to that same breakover angle that both lifted versions of the Subarus have, and it actually is better than the Outback's approach and departure angle, while nearly matching the Forester's approach and departure angle. Now, this is really cool because that's not the lifted off-road version of the CX-50. You can tell by the bigger wheels that's probably a premium turbo model, but it doesn't have any kind of, at least from what we can see in that picture, no specific off-road package on it. Mazda CX-50, thanks to specifically those shorter front and rear overhangs compared to the Subarus, we can see that the CX-50 actually is very well set up for off-roading. And with a lift, which you could probably achieve either with a suspension lift or with bigger tires, the Mazda might actually beat Subaru's Wilderness models in those areas. And again, this model has just been announced. Mazda hasn't released official ground clearance or anything like that. But when you're off-roading, that geometry is the most important part of being able to develop a competitive and effective and even safe off-roader. And Mazda seems to have really designed this from the ground up to do just that. So this is a really exciting development, and I hope that Mazda continues to release more information on how the CX-50 works in that off-road context, because just looking at the ballpark angles for it, it looks really, really good. Let me know in the comments what you think of Mazda's newest off-road adventure vehicle, and let me know what you think they're going to need to do in order to be competitive with Subaru, aside from having good off-road geometry. I hope this video gives emphasis to what Mazda is doing with their serious off-road plans, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to check out my other ones. I actually take that Chevy Camaro I put in the off-road angles section off-roading for real, and I've taken it to rallycross and car camping events and it's done great, so make sure to check out my other videos for more on that. I'll see you all next time. My comparison with my Camaro right there doesn't have any official measurements because its approach angle is please don't. Its breakover angle is you will definitely break something if you go over that, but its departure angle is actually okay.